Nearly a year since we first saw these heartbreaking images. A tornado ripped through an Edwardsville Amazon warehouse. 6 people died inside of this building. While there have been calls to improve safety, News 4 investigator Susan L. Corey exposes the lack of changes.
And that was our only child. So we have a huge loss in our lives.
Alice and Randall McEwen hold on to pictures of their son, Austin.
He was our world.
The way they want to remember him.
He just lit up the room when he walked in.
Not by the devastation of December 10th, 2021.
It ripped my heart out, basically. I mean, it was the worst day of my life.
A day Austin went to work at an Edwardsville Amazon warehouse, not knowing he'd never make it home.
We knew that the tornado had hit the building and that they couldn't get a hold of him.
The warehouse didn't have a storm shelter. Austin was one of 6 employees who took cover in a bathroom when the walls collapsed on them.
There's just no reason for it. They can't afford a shelter.
This is what the warehouse looked like a day after the storm. Now, a year later, it's hard to tell what happened. The warehouse was rebuilt in the same spot. Plans that did not include adding a storm shelter.
It's a slap in the face, it really is.
Weeks after the storm, reporting by News 4 Investigates exposed how the warehouse was built using tilt-up construction, which has a history of catastrophic failures during powerful storms. In tilt-up, concrete walls rely on the roof to stand up. High winds travel up the walls and can rip the roof off, causing the walls to collapse. Amazon has seen that devastation before. In 2018, an EF1 tornado hit an Amazon warehouse in Baltimore. Part of the roof came off and the walls collapsed, killing 2 employees. There was no storm shelter. 3 years later, there was the Edwardsville tornado. The now rebuilt warehouse hasn't changed. It's still tilt-up construction.
If another storm came through there like that, it wouldn't take nothing to have the same exact reaction. And not just to that building, almost every building out there is built the same way.
Amazon reps defended the building days after the storm.
So we know that the building was constructed consistent with code.
While they haven't done another interview, in multiple statements, Amazon maintains the building was up to code and that they leased the warehouse after it was built. As families like the McEwens question why a storm shelter wasn't added in the rebuild, the answer comes down to the law. There's no federal, state, or local requirement for that added protection. At the end of the day, it's a choice between the building owner and Amazon.
It's devastating.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker had a lot to say in the days after the storm.
And I've spoken with the legislators that are here too about whether or not we need to change code based upon the climate change that we're seeing all around us.
The statewide changes he called for haven't happened. Lawmakers considered a bill to start looking at that, but nothing came of it.
The Amazon warehouse got hit.
Here's what has happened in the past year. First, OSHA investigated and found Amazon didn't break any workplace rules, but federal investigators did send this letter telling Amazon to make safety changes.
We are calling on Amazon to be an industry leader for workplace safety. 6 workers died in this event. It was a tragic event. So that by itself should be a wake-up call for employers.
Second, Amazon tried to hire a chief meteorologist, a job that wasn't mentioned before the storm. News 4 Investigates exposed how there have been questions about the structural integrity of the warehouse. An engineer who was called in the night of December 10th claims he saw support columns that weren't properly anchored. Amazon said it's doing an internal investigation into that. When News 4 asked for the results, Amazon wouldn't answer. The tornado also sparked a congressional inquiry. Lawmakers say they're concerned Amazon is making employees work in dangerous conditions. Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush is pushing for federal changes.
Regardless of how these structures are built, that is oversight that we have to work on too. But can we also pass a law that says that if your employee says that, they would rather be home, they would rather leave the facility, they should be able to do that.
Lastly, Amazon faces 5 separate lawsuits filed by surviving employees and families, including the McEwens, who lost their loved ones. Each suit claims Amazon didn't do enough to protect their employees.
I mean, would be justice for us if they could save other lives. I mean, we felt like our son shouldn't have lost his life.
The warehouse is still under construction. When that's done, we're told Amazon plans to work out of there again. In terms of safety changes, Amazon says they're doing more emergency drills with managers. They're also working on emergency plans that are specific to each location, as opposed to what they had before, which was one plan for all of North America. While Amazon didn't comment on this story, they tell us a spokesperson will be doing interviews on Friday. We plan on being there and we'll let you know what they say. Susan Elcori, News 4 Investigates.